Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name's Kyle. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the reason why mirrorless camera batteries suck. Now, this subject might not be for everyone. If you don't use a mirrorless camera, then that's fine. Click on another video. If you're someone that's a professional that uses a mirrorless camera, you've probably run into the same problem. Mirrorless camera batteries suck. You've seen it all over the internet. You've seen all of these reviewers say it. 99% of mirrorless camera batteries aren't the greatest. We all know that. They're tiny. They are tiny. In comparison to some of the batteries that you get in things like the Canon 5D4 and Nikon cameras, I'm not a massive Nikon shooter, but Nikon cameras, they have big batteries. Mirrorless cameras don't, because they're generally, the battery grips are smaller and they just don't have the room for it. It's just one of those things. We all bought mirrorless cameras because they are smaller and because they bring different things to the table, but everyone moans about the fact that the battery sucks, and it's just one of those things. We all know it. How do we fix it? So how I combated it was with this, a camera grip. Now, battery grips can be bought from loads of different third-party vendors. There's companies like Newer, and Sony even make one themselves. Personally, I didn't want to shell out for that Sony battery, the battery grip. It's really expensive. These ones, the third-party ones, they're a lot cheaper. They're about £50-ish. I was quite lucky. I managed to find this one made by a company called Meki, or however you say it. I found it online on eBay by someone that had just sold their A7rii and was selling this because he just got rid of the camera. And I bought it for £30. You could probably find one that's a similar price online as well. But if I'm honest, this is probably one of the best things I've bought for my camera. Now, we've all seen it online, like I said earlier on, people saying that mirrorless camera batteries suck and how do we get around it and all these different things. This is your answer. The reason why this is your answer, it holds two batteries. So, again, this might sound stupid to some of you that are, well into using mirrorless cameras and have been using them for years. But I'm new to the mirrorless game. I'm kind of new to the camera game, but for me, this is kind of groundbreaking. It makes my life so much easier, and I can probably say that it will help you guys as well. So this is literally it. This is all it is. It's got a little latch at the side. You undo it. Inside, it holds two batteries. Now, some of you are probably going absolutely insane, going, oh my God, you're not using Sony batteries, you're using third-party batteries. So, it makes no difference. In my experience, in my limited experience with cameras and friends and family who are professional photographers and things online, 99% of the time, unless you're using some back alley cheap £1 battery for your camera, it ain't gonna make a difference. So please don't go in the comments going, oh my God, I can't believe he's using third-party batteries. I don't care. I'm using them, so what? Deal with it. If you don't like it, click on another video. Fine. These things, just two simple batteries sat in the bottom of your camera, and it makes the world of difference. This means that rather than having to keep swapping that battery out every 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how you shoot and what you're doing with your camera and stuff like that, this means that you can have double that time instantly. Yes, it makes your camera bigger. Deal with it. Again, it's just one of those things. It's gonna make your camera bigger. It's not a massive amount. It does change the camera's ergonomics in a way, because actually, I'll just put this back in here. What you have to do then, rather than holding the camera like we normally would, this kind of, I know for me, I've got quite big hands, so I can kind of just fit these around the camera and I have to kind of hold it like that, and it's this weird kind of thing because mirrorless cameras are small. But actually with this, what it lets me do is it lets me use my pinky, for those of you that are American, my little finger. It allows me to actually hold the camera as well with my little finger. I can't tell you how much of a help that is for me. I'm someone that's got big hands. I was born with big hands. It is what it is, right? But it helps me with holding my camera so much more than just being a battery grip. It allows me to actually hold the camera more firmly, and I have a more secure grip over the camera in general. It's great. Now, this one does exactly the same as the Sony one. It's exactly the same shape. It does the same things. But actually, for £30, I'd buy this all day long. Even if I bought it at full brand new price, which is like £50, I think. How it connects to your camera, if you look at it right here, what it does is it's actually got, if I can get my camera to focus, it's actually got a like a tripod mount. And what you do is you come over here and you just turn that, a bit like attaching your camera to a tripod. It turns around until it gets locked onto the bottom of the camera. Now, the first thing you have to do before you actually install one of these is to take the camera flap off of the battery flap, sorry, off of the camera. Pretty easy. It concerned me a little doing that at first, but actually you see when you do it, they're all supposed to come off to allow these things to go on. I didn't think that was the case. I thought that I was going to break my camera and all sorts. No, it's fine. It's meant to come off. Canon, Nikon, Sony, all of these other people, Panasonic, they all know that we need battery grips. And the people who need battery grips need to be able to take them on and off relatively easy. Now, to be fair, it did panic me, like I said, but actually this is perfectly secure. You know, this sits inside your camera as if it was a battery, as if it was a full-blown normal battery. And it obviously routes the power down and into where the batteries sit inside the grip. This thing is going to save you so much time in having to put the camera down, turn it off, put your lens cover back on most likely if you're careful, change your battery, put a new one in, turn your camera on, take the lens cover off. It's just a faff. Like, no one wants to do that. This, yes, you still have to do that. It's not going to give you infinite battery life, but it's going to make things so much easier, especially if you're a professional, you're going out, you're taking photos all the time. If you want to be on a gimbal, that's the only thing I'd say. This sucks if you want to use it with a gimbal. If you want to use your camera on DJI Ronin S, if you want to use it on any of those like the stabilizers for the cameras, don't put it on because the stabilizer will struggle. There's probably a few of them on the marketplace that are designed to be used with these. I can well imagine there is. But for me, personally, my personal experience, do not stick one of these on the bottom of your camera and expect a normal consumer grade gimbal to be able to hold your camera. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Deal with it. Now, I know I've said deal with it quite a few times in this video, but it's just one of those things. The reason why I'm making a video about this, the whole reason why, is because I've seen so many people online getting so frustrated about Sony batteries, Canon batteries, mirrorless batteries in general. Guys, just buy a camera grip. It makes so much more sense. Buy a battery grip. It takes most of the time less than 80 to 100 pounds. This one, 30 pounds, like I said earlier on. It's not expensive, it's inexpensive. Give yourself double the shooting time. Carry third-party batteries because they're not bad. Buy, you know, this one's made by RAV Power. I think it's kind of like, I think RAV Power are pretty much like the most used third-party battery company. This one is a brand called Top Max. And this one is another Top Max battery. Inside the camera at the moment, I'm actually using a Sony official battery because I only have one of those. But I shoot on this camera at least 2 to 3 times a week. I use mix and match batteries in these. They are as long as they are the same power output, you can use these batteries mix and match. It doesn't matter. Just make sure they're roughly the same power output. Like a tiny little bit difference won't make a huge amount of bother to the camera, but just make sure that they're kind of close because some of the third-party batteries do have different power outputs. But back to my point, you can load this up with whatever kind of battery, as long as it fits the camera. You can load it up with third-party, first-party, it doesn't matter, and it's going to work flawlessly every time. And like I said as well, this does give you the ability to shoot vertically as well. So for those of you that are portrait shooters and like to shoot in that long portrait mode, this makes things so much easier. You're not rotating the camera like this and, you know, doing that thing that photographers do. You're not doing it anymore. You're holding it like you normally hold the camera, and the camera's nice and straight. It makes it a lot easier to get not so shaky photos. If you've got to have your shutter speed real low, you know, it makes life a lot easier. You've got a firm grip. The battery grip's real long. It's awesome. Now, I will leave the link to this equipment, so the third-party batteries and the battery grip, in the description if you guys want to go and pick one up. Like I said, my camera that I'm using this battery grip for is made for an A7rii. Now, the A7, this is for the Mark II of the A7 camera, so it will work for the A7 II, it will work for the A7S II and the A7R II. If you're using any other mirrorless camera, my advice would be to go on to Amazon and just search your camera, so whether it's Canon EOS R or Nikon Z6 or whatever they're called, search the name of your camera, just put battery grip at the end of it, and I'm 99% sure that you're going to get thousands of results. Just buy one that's got a decent rating, because again, if it's third party, you want to make sure that it is compatible, people have used it and all those sorts of things. But this company right here, and this battery grip is worth your cash. 50 quid, it's awesome. I genuinely cannot explain to you guys how much this has helped me with going out and shooting photos for clients and not having to put my gear down all the time. It's so useful. It's unbelievable. Cool, guys. Right, that's it for this video. Take care. Peace.